What's up, everybody? I'm Gymkhana Josh, and this is a Dunlop Sport Max Q4 tire. I've never ridden on these tires before, but I'm going to be installing them on my ZX-10 Yeti. But before I do, I'm actually going to dress them up with one of these. A Sharpie oil-based paint marker. Check it out.
Send me to my grave.
I'll tell you about this little lady in my life.
Send me to my grave.
Relationship. Since neither of us ever really agreed
Yes,
to my
yes,
knowledge.
yes.
But I love her though. And I think she
I
loves
gotta
me.
speak me.
But you know how relationships go. Now check it out.
In reality, it doesn't matter what brand tire you do this on. It should basically have the same effect on every one. I just got Q4s because I heard a lot of good things about them, and I'm usually a Pirelli guy, but in any case, I'm switching over to some Q4s. I'm going to try them out for a little while. But I've gotten some feedback, and I've gotten some tips about these oil-based paint pens, paint markers, and how to prep the tire beforehand, which I'm not going to follow exactly. People have said before you actually start putting paint to rubber, heat the rubber, sand the rubber. Well, I'm going to clean it. I'm going to wash it off and make sure it's nice and clean before I put paint on there. But I'm not going to go through the whole process of like sanding it down, making it rough, and heating it up before I put the marker on there. Honestly, worst case scenario, if I put this on there and it doesn't last longer than a week, these things are really cheap. I'm not sure exactly off the top of my head how much I paid for them, but I got two because they were so cheap. I think it's like $1.30 or $2.30 or something like that. They're not very expensive, so if I make a mistake, not a really big deal, honestly. So what I'm gonna do right now, like I said, I'm gonna bring the tires in the bathroom. I'm just gonna wash off the lettering that I'm gonna be putting the paint onto, and then I'm gonna bring them back out here into the living room and put this paint marker to work. So let's see what happens. So what I'm using on these is just regular old dish soap, kind of worked into a washcloth, and all I'm doing is just scrubbing these side walls where I'm actually going to be doing the painting. I'm not going to be painting all around, but I'm just going to scrub all around it anyway. Might as well while I'm here. Off, let it dry, and start painting. Now, while those are drying, I'd just like to take a minute to thank my sponsors. Me. Okay, so the tires have already been cleaned. I just put them into the bathtub, scrubbed them down with regular dish soap, and let them dry. Here's another close-up of the paint pen. The brand I'm using is Sharpie, and it's just the oil-based paint marker, medium point. And all you're doing is you're actually just going to color in the letters or numbers or any of the designs on your tire that you want to be accented in gold. A fine tip probably would have been easier for this project, but honestly, the little bit of blemishes that I left when I did this are not really noticeable unless you're right up on the tire. So even just that line that I made right there as I'm outlining, you can see I'm kind of going on the outer edge. It's not that noticeable from more than 2 feet away from the tire.
and I have a feeling that, you know, over time it's gonna wear off anyway. So honestly, it's not a show bike. I'm not too worried about it. If you're really particular about the precision of this, I would highly recommend getting your face a little bit closer and taking a little bit more time with a fine marker instead of a medium tip. But like I said, I'm not being too particular about it. Now, when all is said and done and you've finished up filling in the letters and numbers that you want accented on the sidewall of the tire, it should look something like this. And I didn't go too crazy with it. I'm actually just doing the Dunlop logo and the Q4 logo. Just a little something. And again, if you look really closely, you can see I kind of messed up around the edges, but I have a feeling that it's so thin and it's so weak that over time, these little smudges and whatnot that I got there, one, it's not going to be noticeable unless you're right up on the tire, and two, it'll probably wear off over time. So just keep doing that around the tire, and this is what it looks like when you're all done.
So that is the lowdown nitty gritty on how to add a little bit of color accents to your tires. It works on motorcycle tires, car tires, tractor tires, truck tires, bike tires, any kind of tires that have a rubber compound. These will most likely work with. It's an oil base, so maybe it'll last a little while, maybe it won't. I've seen videos on YouTube of oil-based paint marker on tires lasting years. So I didn't do a whole lot of prep work. Again, I didn't sand the surface that I was painting, and I didn't heat it up with a heat gun before I applied the marker. I just had brand new tires. I put them in the tub, scrubbed them down with soap, let them dry, and then went over them with the marker. So we'll see what happens. I'll do a little update on them in the near future. If anything goes wrong with it, if it flakes off early, I'll make sure to let everybody know. Otherwise, they'll just be gold accented motorcycle tires on my ZX-10. Subscribe to my channel. Leave a thumbs up on this video if you found it mildly entertaining or informative at all. I would greatly appreciate it. I'm always putting out new content, usually like once a week, maybe more times than that even. I'm live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My show is called Beyond the Apex. Me, my co-host Butter, we have guests on, we talk about motorcycle everything and then some. So tune in on Wednesdays live. You can contribute in the YouTube chat. It's always a good time. Other than that, stay safe out there, and as I always say, leave this world better than you found it. Take it easy.